That night, I drive home in silence, the city lights blurring outside my window. My chest feels tight, as if the truth is pressing down from all sides. I pour a glass of water and stare at my reflection in the kitchen window. TU letter 1EA5, and S face flashes in my mind, calm, unbothered, too perfect for a dying man. My instincts whisper that something isn't right, louder with every thought. I spread the medical papers across my dining table, reading line by line. Each page carries strange formatting, inconsistent fonts, awkward phrasing. The hospital's name appears 3 different ways in the same paragraph. I search the doctor's name online and find nothing. No record, no trace. If he's a kidney specialist, he doesn't exist on any professional list. My mother's words echo in my head, heavy with guilt and manipulation. "You're his sister. If you don't help him, who will?" she said. I close my eyes and remember all the times I did help. TU letter 1EA5, N calling me for rent money, for tuition, for another emergency. Each time he promised to repay, and each time he vanished afterward. I used to believe he was unlucky. Now I'm not so sure. I grab my laptop and open my bank records, scrolling through old transfers. The pattern appears almost instantly, every medical crisis tied to a withdrawal. Thousands of dollars sent during months when he posted casino photos online. I clench my jaw as realization sharpens into anger. This isn't about love. It's about control and convenience. The next morning, I call my mother, trying to sound calm. "I just want to verify the hospital before we book flights," I say. Her tone hardens immediately, sharp and cold beneath fake concern. "Do you think I'd lie about your brother's life?" she asks. My throat goes dry, but I force my voice steady. "I just need confirmation. It's my body, Mom. I deserve to be sure." Silence, then a sigh so heavy it feels rehearsed. "You've always been selfish," she whispers, "always doubting family." I end the call before guilt can twist deeper into my chest. For hours, I stare at the documents, the fake signatures, the blurry stamps. Fear begins to fade, replaced by a different kind of clarity. If they can lie about this, what else have they lied about? I print copies, label folders, and store everything neatly by date. My accountant's mind takes over where my heart once ruled. I will not be tricked into surrendering my body to their lies. Outside, the sky darkens, clouds gathering like witnesses to my resolve. I whisper to the empty room. They think I won't question them. But I will. I will find out who these doctors are and what they truly want. I will uncover why Guatemala matters and who's paying for what. If this is a lie, I'll expose it piece by piece, number by number. For the first time in years, I stop feeling like a daughter. I feel like an investigator, standing at the edge of a dangerous truth. 3 days pass before I find the courage to dig deeper. I spend my evenings searching every name printed on those documents. The hospital in Guatemala doesn't appear in any medical registry. Its website looks new, built from a template with broken English text. The phone number leads to a disconnected line, the address to a vacant lot. My stomach turns as I realize how elaborate the lie must be. I call the insurance company, pretending to confirm a claim for my brother. The representative searches for a long moment before replying. There are no dialysis treatments listed under that name. My breath catches, the room spinning as reality begins to fracture. "The last claim," she says, "was for a routine checkup 6 months ago." I thank her and hang up, my hand trembling against the phone. TU letter 1EA5, N has never been sick. He's never even been in treatment. The urgent transplant is nothing but a story crafted to trap me. I open my email and type my mother's name in the search bar. Hundreds of messages flood the screen, filled with pleas for help. Each one paired with an excuse: car crash, surgery, sudden infection. Every lie matched perfectly to a transfer from my bank account. One message stands out, sent months ago by accident. It's from my mother to TU letter 1EA5N, and I was copied by mistake. She'll send the money if you tell her it's medical again, it reads. My throat burns, eyes stinging as I read it again and again. To them, I was never a daughter, just a resource that never refused. I start a spreadsheet, documenting every withdrawal, every excuse. The numbers form a pattern of manipulation years in the making. This isn't desperation. It's a business, and I'm their currency. My mind races through possibilities, each darker than the last. Why Guatemala? Why so far? What happens once I arrive there? The word procurement on one of the forms resurfaces in my thoughts. I search it online and freeze when the definition appears. Procurement, the act of obtaining something, often through purchase. My chest tightens, air caught in my throat. They're not asking for a donation. They're arranging a sale. I scroll through TU letter 1EA5, NS social media, and find a post from yesterday. He's smiling at a bar, a drink in his hand, healthy, laughing. My phone vibrates, a text from my mother. The coordinator confirmed the date. We need your passport. I stare at the message, my heart pounding like a warning drum. They're accelerating the plan, moving faster than I can stop it. I grab my keys and drive to the police station, unsure what to say. The officer at the desk listens, skeptical at first, then attentive. He refers me to Detective Hoa, from the Human Trafficking Unit. I show him the emails, the forged letters, the fake contracts. He studies each page with quiet intensity, then meets my eyes. This isn't just fraud, he says. It's organized trafficking. The words hit harder than I expect, cold and final. He gives me his card and a single instruction. Stay alert, stay quiet. Collect everything, but don't confront them yet. As I drive home, I replay every conversation in my mind. The guilt, the pressure, the emotional blackmail, they were tools. Tools to turn me into something I never agreed to be. I pull over, grip the steering wheel, and whisper to myself. They wanted my silence, my compliance, my body. But now they have something else. They have my attention. And I'm not afraid to fight back. The next morning, I wake with a plan forming like a map in my head. Every number, every email, every lie must be recorded precisely. I scan the fake medical documents and save them to a hidden folder. The word evidence glows on the screen like a quiet promise. At work, I find Lan in the office kitchen making coffee. She looks up, sees my face, and frowns with concern. What's wrong? You look like you haven't slept, she says softly. I hesitate, then the words spill out faster than I expect. My brother needs a kidney transplant, but nothing adds up. Lan sets her mug down, her expression sharpening. Where's the hospital? She asks. In Guatemala, I reply. And even saying it aloud sounds absurd. Lan's eyes widen. That doesn't sound right at all. She tells me her cousin donated a kidney last year. There's a whole process, psych tests, legal reviews, medical boards. Her words sink deep, steady and practical like anchors. She gives me the name of a friend, Dr. T letter 1B0, letter 1EDDNG, a nephrologist at City General. He can tell you if those documents are real, she says. That evening, I email the files to the address she gives me. Minutes later, a reply arrives. Come tomorrow morning, bring originals. I barely sleep, my thoughts looping between fear and resolve. At the hospital, Dr. T letter 1B0, letter 1EDD, NG greets me with calm professionalism. He spreads the papers across his desk, studying them in silence. After 10 minutes, he removes his glasses and meets my eyes. These are fake, he says quietly. The terminology is wrong, the letterhead inconsistent, the diagnosis impossible. I feel both vindicated and sick at once, truth cutting both ways. What would someone gain from this? I whisper. He leans back, voice low but firm. Your kidney, your trust, your silence. He advises me to go to the authorities immediately. I nod, but my body feels disconnected, floating through disbelief. Outside the hospital, the city noise feels sharper than usual. I call Detective Hoa again and tell him what the doctor confirmed. Good, he says. Now we build a case. He instructs me to document every contact with my family. Texts, calls, emails, all must be saved and time-stamped. He warns me they might escalate once they sense my hesitation. That night, I start a new spreadsheet labeled Timeline. Each row holds a truth they tried to hide. Dates of money transfers, fabricated crises, and emotional threats. The data forms a story of betrayal written in numbers. When my phone buzzes, I freeze. It's a message from TU letter 1EA5N. Need your passport by Friday. Urgent. I stare at the screen, my pulse steady but my mind cold. They still think I'm blind. That guilt will pull me back in. I type a short reply. Still looking for it. Will update soon. Then I record the conversation in my file. For the first time, I'm not reacting. I'm preparing. I print duplicates of all evidence, locking one set in my office safe. The other I hand to Detective Hoa the next morning. He studies my notes, impressed by the precision. You're methodical, he says. That's exactly what we need. I leave the station lighter, though fear still hums beneath the calm. They've underestimated me, and that's their first mistake. As dusk falls, I look out at the city lights flickering below. I whisper to myself, almost a vow. They built their lies on my trust. Now I'll build justice on their lies. 2 days later, the tension finally breaks. I'm at home when loud knocking shakes my apartment door. Through the peephole, I see them, my mother and TU letter 1EA5N. Their faces are drawn, eyes wild with something close to panic. Before I can speak, they push past me into the living room. We need your passport, my mother says, voice trembling but urgent. The flight leaves tonight. The coordinator moved the schedule. My pulse spikes, but my expression stays calm. I step back, clutching my phone inside my pocket. I thought the surgery was next week, I say carefully. TU letter 1EA5N begins packing, running his hands through his hair. Plans changed, the doctor's waiting, we can't waste time. His voice is sharp, impatient, almost threatening. Mom drops her oversized purse on the table, papers spilling out. You've made this difficult enough already, she snaps. I force a smile, steady and deliberate. Let me get my passport, it's in the bedroom safe. Her shoulders loosen slightly, relief flooding her face. Good girl, she whispers. We knew you'd come through. As I walk down the hall, I type one message on my phone. Red kidney now. The emergency code Detective Hoa gave me weeks ago. TU letter 1EA5N follows me to the doorway, watching every move. Be quick, he says, his tone colder than before. I kneel near the safe, pretending to struggle with the lock. My hands shake slightly, but not from fear this time. Behind me, I hear my mother whispering on the phone. Yes, she's cooperating. We'll meet at the terminal soon. Each word confirms what I already know. They're desperate. TU letter 1EA5, and as footsteps inch closer, his breath heavy with anger. What's taking so long? He demands, voice rising. The combination's stuck, I reply, stalling for time. From the street below, faint sirens echo through the night air. I pray they're heading here, faster than my family's patience. Mom reappears in the doorway, clutching plane tickets. The driver, coming in 30 minutes, she says urgently. TU letter 1EA5 and grabs my wrist, squeezing too hard to be gentle. You're not backing out this time, he growls. His grip burns, but I meet his gaze with quiet defiance. I'm not giving you my kidney, I say clearly. For a moment, silence fills the room like static before a storm. My mother's face goes pale, voice shaking. What are you talking about? This is to save your brother. No, I answer, pulling my arm free. This is about money, about debts, about lies. TU letter 1EA5 and lunges toward me, fury twisting his face. You don't understand what they'll do if I don't pay. The sirens grow louder, closer, filling the hallway outside. My mother freezes, realization dawning too late. What did you do? She hisses, eyes wide with fear. I back away toward the window, my heart pounding steadily. I told the truth, I say, and they're coming for it. The pounding on the door returns, heavier this time. Police, open up. TU letter 1EA5 and turns, panic slicing through his anger. He bolts toward the bedroom, searching for escape. The door bursts open, filling the room with uniformed officers. Detective Hoa steps in first, gun raised but steady. Everyone stay where you are, he shouts. TU letter 1EA5, N is tackled before he reaches the fire escape. My mother collapses on the couch, sobbing hysterically. It's a misunderstanding, she cries. We were saving him. The detective looks at me, calm and knowing. I nod, tears blurring my vision but relief washing through me. For the first time, the fear that ruled my life dissolves. TU letter 1EA5, and shouts, something I can't make out as he's led away. My mother's voice breaks into pleading, desperate apologies. But I can't hear her anymore. All I can hear are the words in my mind, strong and final. It's over. They can't take anything from me again. At the police station, the night feels endless. Fluorescent lights hum above, cold and merciless. I sit across from Detective Hoa, hands clasped together. On the table lies a thick folder filled with my evidence. Emails, bank records, forged medical files, all neatly labeled. He flips through each page with careful attention. This is more than enough, he says finally. His tone carries both relief and anger beneath the calm. These documents prove trafficking, conspiracy, and financial fraud. I breathe out slowly, my chest heavy but lighter than before. They used me for years, I whisper, voice thin but steady. He nods, eyes softening for a brief moment. And now, they'll answer for every one of those years. Agents move through the hallway, carrying boxes of evidence. Each file another nail, sealing my family's deception shut. Dr. T, letter 1B0, letter 1EDD, NG arrives, still wearing his hospital coat. He places a sealed report on the desk, in front of the detective. These are TU letter 1EA5 and S real medical records, he explains quietly. No sign of kidney disease, no dialysis, nothing at all. Hoa signs a form and looks up at me. You were right from the beginning. They never intended a donation. The words land like truth carved into stone. My mother's sobs echo faintly from another room. TU letter 1EA5, and S angry voice follows, shouting excuses through the walls. For the first time, I don't flinch hearing them. I've lived my whole life believing their guilt was my responsibility. Now I know better. I close my eyes and see the timeline I built on my computer. Every lie now backed by proof, every manipulation turned into data. Numbers never lie. They never loved me as much as they loved control. Detective Hoa gathers his notes and speaks quietly. The case will expand. There are more victims connected to this ring. I stare at him, realization dawning slowly. So I wasn't the only one. He shakes his head. 3 others so far, maybe more. The thought chills me deeper than anger ever could. Someone else might still believe the same lies I did. I nod, resolve hardening beneath exhaustion. Then let's stop them all, I say. The detective smiles faintly, impressed by my strength. We will, but for now you should rest. Later, in the witness room, I sign my official statement. Each line I read feels like reclaiming a piece of myself. Outside the window, dawn begins to rise over the city. I watch the light spill across gray rooftops, soft but unstoppable. Dr. T, letter 1B0, letter 1EDD, NG, pats my shoulder before leaving. You did the right thing, he says. Few people would have had the courage to question family. I nod, unable to find the right words. Courage, maybe, but also necessity. I couldn't survive one more lie disguised as love. Hours later, I step outside into the cool morning air. Police cars idle at the curb, engines low and steady. An officer opens the door for me, her voice kind. They're in custody, no bail granted. I look back at the station, a quiet ache settling inside. It's not victory I feel, but clarity. They will face justice, but I have to face myself too. I walk toward the waiting car, the sun warming my face. Each step feels like shedding a skin made of guilt and fear. Behind me, the past collapses quietly, one truth at a time. Ahead of me lies silence, fragile and clean. For the first time, I let it fill me completely. 1 month later, I sit in the back of a courtroom. The judge denies bail for both my mother and TU letter 1EA5N. Their faces are pale, drained of all the power they once held. Detective Hoa takes the seat beside me, calm and steady. They won't hurt anyone else, he says quietly. His words settle into me like sunlight after a long storm. The reporters whisper, cameras flash, but I barely hear them. It's not about headlines or revenge anymore. It's about survival and the quiet kind of freedom that follows. Outside the courthouse, a journalist stops me with a microphone. How does it feel to expose an international trafficking ring? I pause, thinking carefully before I answer. It feels like waking up, I say simply. Like finally seeing clearly after years of fog. The next morning, I unlock the door to my new apartment. The space is small, but every corner feels safe, untouched. No more phone calls, no manipulation, no guilt disguised as love. I unpack slowly, each box a memory I choose to keep or release. The walls are blank, clean, ready for a new version of me. My phone buzzes with a message from Dr. T letter 1B0, letter 1EDDNG. The conference committee proved your talk on patient safety. I smile faintly, surprised but proud. The idea of speaking in front of strangers no longer terrifies me. If my story can help someone else, then it's worth reliving. Weeks pass, and the noise around my name begins to fade. At work, Lan greets me with a grin and a cup of coffee. "You're on the news again," she teases, pointing to her phone. I laugh, the sound genuine for the first time in months. Life is ordinary again, but in the best possible way. I spend evenings volunteering with a new awareness group. We teach others how to recognize coercion and medical fraud. Every story I hear reminds me how close I came to vanishing. The fear is gone, replaced by something steadier, purpose. 6 months later, I stand behind a podium at a medical summit. The audience listens in silence as I tell them what happened. Trafficking doesn't always wear chains, I say. Sometimes it speaks with a mother's voice, soft and familiar. The room stays quiet long after I finish speaking. When the applause comes, it feels like closure and beginning at once. Afterward, a hospital director approaches me with an offer. "Join our donor education program. Help people understand consent." I agree without hesitation, heart light and certain. Helping others is the only way I know to make sense of it all. A year after the arrests, I launched the Minh Anh Foundation. Our mission is simple: education, prevention, and protection. We've already helped dozens of people avoid falling into the same trap. The work is heavy, but it fills the silence that used to haunt me. Sometimes I still drive past my parents' old house. I no longer feel anger, only distance and peace. They chose their path, and I chose mine. Lan jokes that I've turned trauma into a full-time job. Maybe she's right, but at least it's one that saves lives. As dusk settles, I return to my apartment, lights glowing warm inside. I pour tea, sit by the window, and breathe in the quiet. 2 kidneys, both mine, both reminders of survival. The scars they left aren't physical but something deeper, proof. Proof that I am whole, and that truth once faced can set you free. A year passes, and the city feels different now. The streets I once feared walking alone have become familiar again. I stand on a stage, facing a crowd at a human rights conference. They call me a survivor, but I prefer the word witness. I tell them how love can be twisted, how trust can be weaponized, how silence almost cost me everything I am. When the applause fades, I step outside into the evening air. Lan waits by the car, waving, her smile steady and kind. Dr. T, letter 1B0, letter 1EDD, NG sends a message. Another victim reached out today. The network grows stronger, safer, louder against the dark. At home, I light a candle by the window and breathe. The flame flickers gently, small but unyielding. I think of my mother, of TU letter 1EA5N, of the weight I no longer carry. Forgiveness isn't possible yet, but peace is. I touch the scar on my wrist, a reminder of what almost happened. Not pain anymore, just proof that I survived. Tomorrow I will speak again, to teach, to warn, to heal. And tonight, for the first time in years, I sleep without fear. The story is no longer theirs to tell. It's mine.